What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with our beautiful project. Today we have this stunning wide-bodied Ford Sierra, kind of based a little bit on the Cosworth, but it's not really a Cosworth. It's not even a Ford, technically, it's a Merca, but we're glossing over that for the moment. Looking awesome. This is a Ford Sierra to me and always will be. Don't forget the Ford DLC is coming soon. It's been announced on Steam. Still don't quite know the release date, but it is coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. Speaking of the Ford DLC, come and join us on Discord for the competition. The current one will have ended by the time you've seen this video. We already know who the direct winner will be, and the three will have been sent over. But as the time of recording, I don't quite know. It's quite a close race up near the top to see who's going to win. It's quite interesting. But the next competition that is live right now that you guys can see is pretty exciting. So do make sure you go over there and check it out. It's in celebration of the Ford DLC coming out. We're looking forward to this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the top prize is a code for the Ford DLC. So somebody across any platform is going to win a free version of the DLC for you to play in Car Mechanic Simulator 21, which is pretty epic. And the first time Red Dot Games have ever given away some DLC as a prize for something, which is pretty awesome. So head over and join in for that one. Be sure to read all the rules. There are few little extra ones again on that one, so get over there, check it out. Link is in the description below. But let's talk about our beautiful Ford Sierra. I love this car, absolutely insane. This is one of the cars that I would see driving around on the streets as a kid quite often. Not so much like a wide body Cosworth version. Be very lucky to see one of them just driving around the street. I have seen them in person before, and they are absolutely epic. But let's talk about this one. It is the 1989 Ford Sierra. Ignore that. I might just try and edit over that in post-production, but we'll see. Time Attack version is the one I've got today. We got it from the auction house. Pretty clean, so I would say the semi-decent auction house or the decent auction house. Everything's above 50%, so it's not too bad at all. Did I get a good deal? No. I bought it for $28,295 and could sell it for $24,258, losing out on $4,037, which is a little bit of a shame. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we'll be able to claw that back by the end of today's video. The engine in this is the i4 double overhead cam 4x4, and I'm going to keep that one in because the 4x4 aspect. This is a four-wheel drive version, so we'll leave it in and we'll see how that goes. 628 factory horsepower, so it's already pretty good. By the time we throw performance parts on this, it should be a little bit insane, and that four-wheel drive should make it launch very, very, very good. But let's get this one started. But just before we do that, I need to welcome all of the new subscribers. In a little over a week and a half, I've gone from just under 500 subscribers to just under 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much to everybody who's hitting that subscribe button. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please smash that subscribe button and join us as part of the Virtual Mechanic family. But let's get in. Let's get this one over to the car wash. Let's get it cleaned up. Here we are then at the car wash. Let's get our little Ford Sierra, not so little, very wide Ford Sierra, cleaned up, ready to go. I mean, it wasn't that dusty, but you've got to be safe. Better to keep it clean. Let's get the interior done, and we'll get it back on the lift. We'll start ripping everything out, get it all tailed down before we start reassembling all of the bodywork. Head over to the paint shop. You already know what the livery is today, and it looks absolutely awesome. Thank you to Zaraki for that one. It's insane. Let's get underneath and check for that oil pan. There is an oil pan in there. Lots going on under there. Let's get that drained out and then check it all out before we start tearing stuff out. Out you come. Very, very clean. Nice to see you looking after your old school Ford Sierras. Pretty awesome. Let's get under here then and see what we've got. Massive large intercooler right in my face there. Well, I know for starters we're going to need to get this drive shaft out of here. So let's start with that. Out you come, nice and easy. Just the one rusty bolt on there, so not too bad. Then we're definitely going to need to get these front wheels off and these front drive axles off to be able to get this gearbox out of here. So I'm just going to whip these wheels off quickly and the drive axles. I'll be back in a second. That's the front wheels and drive axles off. Let's get this front drive shaft out. And then I realise I'm going to have to go back up the top to take that starter out because I'm an idiot. So let's get the car back down on the ground. Every time as one of them engines, I forget that it needs to be on the top until I'm right there. And then I'm like, oh yeah, well, we need to go down to get the starter out. So let's get that out and let's go back up in the air and get that gearbox out of there. I don't know why I closed that. I'm going to need that open again in a second anyway. Back underneath. Not walk into a moving car. There we go. Now get the gearbox out of here. Out you come. Nice and easy. There we go. And I do think to be on the safe side, we should definitely grab that front exhaust section. Do we think we need to grab anything else? Hopefully not. Let's just get it back down on the ground and have a look. Down you come. Let's go and grab the engine crane. Over you go. Open the hood again because I'm an idiot. And let's pull you out. Nice. We did get everything in there. That is what we like. What have we got inside this engine bay then? After the engine blocks out, quite a bit going on. A wishy-washy reservoir up here. We've got the brake servo in here. Coolant reservoir up there. Radiator fan housing kit. My favourite air filter because it can be painted beautifully. I love it. Lovely little battery up here. The fuse box just hiding there. That's the back of it. I want the front. Sorry about the bing noise. That might have been a bit loud. And a lovely little ECU up here. Where is the fuel tank? Am I being blind? Am I being blind? Oh, it's there. I am being blind. It's literally just there, hiding away at the back. We'll grab that fuel pump out and let's get back up the front. No ABS pump or module. This car's too old for ABS pumps and modules. Doesn't have assisted braking system. So let's get these liquids drained here, here, and here. No power steering as well. So additional tools, a drain tool. Click and hold on the container. It'll all drain out. I'll see you back in a minute. We'll be tearing this bodywork down. That's everything mechanical on our Ford Sierra. Repaired, replaced, or upgraded. Ready to go back in. Now we need to sort out this bodywork. So let's just start tearing it down. Off with the hood, them wide front fenders, absolutely love them. Thank you, Payne, for fixing them. Ages ago you did it, but I just haven't had time to come back to this one till now. So let's just get the rest of this off. Out you come. Out you come there. We've got a door. Got a windshield. Is that a side skirt? Doesn't look like it, but it is a rear fender, so we'll grab that as well. Window out. Rear bumper. That massive trunk. I love that trunk. Out you come with the tail lights, and the rear license plate. I know what I'm doing, honestly. Trust me. Out with that rear window, door, and is that? I mean, that looks like a part, but it's definitely not. That's just how it normally comes. That's how it normally comes as well. That looks to be everything off of there. Let's just get in and get this interior out then. Out with these two lovely bucketed seats and that steering wheel. And then we'll check if we have got everything. Let's go into here. Don't want to be on that screen. 2%, so I'm definitely missing something. Car part 1B. What is car part 1B? Can we figure it out? Or am I going to have to go into the shop to find out what it actually is? What is car part 1B? I'll be back in a minute once we've... found it. Never mind. It is the fuel door. Out you come. Nice and easy. I was going to say I'll be back in a minute when I figure it out, but that was... just popped into my head. There we go. Nothing on there. 1% on there. That is everything. Let's grab the welder. Let's see what this is going to cost. So the frame's at 53%. I bought it for 28,000. What do we think? I'm going to say 15 on this one. 500. Way off. Obviously, this isn't going to sell for a lot. Let's just start getting it all back together before we head over to the paint shop and get that beautiful livery on it. Time to get this wide boy Ford Sierra time attack all back together. Let's just get it in. We've got the RS500 hood on there. We've got the wide boy front fenders without the trim, as you can see. On with the other side for them beautiful fenders. Looking good on there. Front bumper, the wide body. And then the front end, we went for the Ford badge one with the RS500 on there because it is a Ford. Let's get the headlights in. Sorry. It's just an ongoing joke about the Merca and Ford. The only reason Payne put it as a Merca is just because he wanted to annoy people, and I'm just playing into that. Let's get the windshield in, on with the door without the trim, so it blends in with the rest of it there. In with the window, in with the mirrors. Only the one at mirrors available. Mirror, whichever. Left body window, in you go. And then we've got the rear left fender for the wide body kit on there. Rear bumper is just the one at rear bumper, and the trunk we swapped to the Ford one because we want the Ford badge on there. Again, I'm not going to keep going. Rear window in, and then that rear clamshell. We did swap to the C because I'm hoping this part here will be paintable, but we shall see in a little while. Then we got the tail lights. We went for the tinted ones on there, looking pretty good. Fuel door, in you go. We kept it with the RS500 one, and then we got that wide body fender on the back. In with the window, in with the door, in with the window, and then the mirror on there. And if we jump round to the back, we'll get the license plate on. My VM plates, I've gone for time, attack, Ford. Made sense in my head. Hopefully it just doesn't just say Tatk Ford to most people. Hopefully they understand what that means, but never mind. Let's crack on around. Oh, one thing I will say is I edited the config. I just removed this front license plate. Because of the livery, there's the logo on there. So we'll come back to that in a bit. But let's crack on and get the interior in and see if we have got everything for this wonderful little Ford Sierra. I swapped the seats to some Nissan and GTR seats. I think they look pretty good in there, in all honesty. And we'll just get that steering wheel on. I did swap that to the Continental steering wheel. Fits in more in the time period of this Ford Sierra. Now, I was debating whether to not go with the bucket seats and pick an interior that matches the rest of this interior. But I really like how these look. I think that grey insert bit there is sort of quite close to it. So I think we're going to stick with that. And we'll see what we can do with some colours for that later on. Now, is that everything? Into the status mode. 100%, 100%, 100%. Fantastic. Let's go and get that livery on it. Here we are then in the paint shop with our beautiful Ford Sierra in a Texaco wonderful livery by Zaraki. Now, when you subscribe to this livery, the one you actually get is this one here. I haven't edited it myself. As you can see, it doesn't quite fit on the wide body. But if you go into the mod folder, into the mod files for this particular livery, in a folder for bonus liveries, there will be 2 other liveries. I'll just nipply quickly show you them. One of them is just for the stripes down the side there, looking pretty good. And the other one is for the wide body Texaco livery. This is the color scheme that Zaraki recommends for it. A bit of blue in there. Nice bit of blue underneath this black. 100 on the saturation. And then just a bit of 10 on the brightness to keep it black, but still with a tiny tinge of that blue in there. Looking pretty good. We've already got it applied, so let's just crack on. We're going to get everything else painted. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably some reds. I think I'm going to chrome a lot of this, make it look shiny and bright and in your face. Maybe with some reds, maybe a bit of that bluey black in there as well. We are going to try and do something with these seats and the steering wheel. I'm not sure yet, but before we start reassembly, I will definitely show you guys any changes we've made. That's everything painted, ready to go back on our beautiful Texaco Ford Sierra. I'm calling this Texaco Oil Blue. It looks absolutely stunning. It's not black, it's definitely blue in there, looking pretty good. We've got a tiny bit of that body-coloured red on the seats in there, just on the bottoms down there, and the ringlets at the top. And that steering wheel, if we nip round to this side, looks black, but it's definitely a blue, matching in with that body, looking very good in that dark blue. But let's get it up in the air and start getting all of this back together. Starting with the shocks, blue shocks, red springs with a blue cap on there, looking very good. That oil blue, absolutely fantastic. Let's get in underneath and start getting some of this in. The first piece I'm going to do is the intercooler, which isn't painted. How bizarre. Left it in that sort of silvery chrome finish, looking pretty good. It will make sense in a minute. In fact, as soon as we get onto this cross member, which is painted to match, it isn't false chromed or anything like that. It's a very unique sort of silvery color. It looks very good. Then the knuckles in the same color there, and the lower suspension arm is in that oil blue. Very, very nice. On you go. Let's get some bushings in so that we don't forget them. Almost forgot to bolt it in. There we go, and there we go. Nip around to this side. The steering rack isn't painted. It's in that sort of silvery color that matches in there, looking pretty good. We've got the inner tie rod in the blue and the outer tie rod in the blue. So we've got that blue effect running through the middle there. Then we've got the shock absorber. We've already seen it. The spring is very compressed, so you can barely see that in there. But it is in there, looking good. The sway bar is a splash more of that red, and the sway bar end link is just a little bit more of that, just to sort of add a bit of brightness to this front end. Knuckle covers in the blue, and then the wheel hub is in that sort of silvery color that we've been working with. Hub bearing in you go, a brake disc on you go. Then we've got a brake pad, and then the brake caliper is in that force chrome red on there, looking fantastic. Now, there is a drive axle to go in, but we can't do that, obviously, until a little bit later on. That's it for the front for the moment, so let's get down the back and get all of this together. The rear cross member is in that silvery color on there, looking very good. Let's just get these 2 bushings in. We'll come back to the other bushings in a moment. So then we've got the rear knuckle in that silver color as well. Then the bottom arm, in you go in the blue, looking very, very good on there. Let's nip around to this side, get that small rubber bushing in. And then the rear suspension arm there, also in that blue, looking very nice. Spring cap on top of that's in the silver. Then we've got the red spring on top with a lovely little oil blue cap on there, just to finish it off. This rear suspension arm is in the blue, just to keep that colour theme going. On we go, and in with that rubber bushing. Then this top arm is in the red, just to give a splash more of that colour down the back here, looking very good. Along with that sway bar as well. And the sway bar end link, if we can squeeze it in there. Nicely done. Then we've got the shock. We've kept that one in the blue, matching the colours of the shocks from the front there. But let's get the rear knuckle cover on, and then the rear wheel hub. Blue and silver on there, looking pretty good. Brake disc in you go. Hub bearing on you go. Then we've got the rear drive axle in the silver, matching in with the rest of it, looking very good there. Brake pad on you go. And then we've got the rear brake caliper in that force chrome red on there. Looking very good. I'm quite impressed with this colours. I haven't gone too over the top with this one. I've kept it quite dulled down, but I've still painted pretty much everything as per normal. Fuel tank, in you go. You're in that oil blue. That makes sense. And then the chrome red on that fuel pump just there. And that's about it for the moment. And a crack on, get the rest of the suspension in. Then we'll move into the engine bay, which is a little bit interesting before we go and build that i4. I'll see you in a bit. Well, there it is. All the suspension looking very good. Pretty standard, especially to my standards as how I normally build. Everything's normally brightly coloured and in your face. Don't get me wrong, plenty of bright colours in there. And I'll be honest, none of these are black. They look very black, but they're definitely not. It's all in a sort of blue colour and it looks absolutely great. Loving it, but we need to move on and get the engine bay all sorted. So let's jump up. First thing I'm going to say, we've already got our fuse box in. Now these reds, all of these reds are pretty much a chromed red. They're not. These are force chromed because they're plastic, but these bits here are just sort of like the same, a finish red, not force chrome. But let's crack on and get the rest of the engine bay done. Battery in you go, ECU in you go, brake servo in there. Then we got the wishy-washy reservoir and the coolant reservoir. I shouldn't have done that first, really. Then we got the air filter base in that chrome red on there with the air filter and the cover in the same color on the top with all the clips in a lovely chrome color on there. Looking very good. In you go. In you go, and the last one blending itself in just down there. In you go. Then we've just got this radiator to go, so let's throw you in. You are just in a silver, trying to match in with this really hard on the radiator piece there, but we did all right. Then the fan housing's in that oil blue, and then the two fans are in a force chrome color. Looking fantastic on there. Very, very pleased with this one, but that is it for the engine bay. Looking very good. Let's go and build that beautiful engine. Now, we've seen it in there. It's looking good. Let's go and get the engine built, ready to drop it in. On we go. The block and the oil pan are both in that blue. You can see them looking fantastic under the light there. But let's get on and get some of the rest of this all in. Where are we going to start? Let's just get the engine head on first. Engine head is in that blue, but for the first time since the Quality of Life mod comes out, I haven't painted the outside. I've left it as it was, and this was the sort of silver we blended all of the other silvers into. Trying to match this one wasn't easy, but we got there, and it looks very, very good. Let's just throw some of these pieces on, because these all go under covers. So these are idle rollers not painted, idle roller not painted to go under there. The water pump also not painted, and then we've got nothing else, because I need to wait till we've done a little bit more to go in there. Power steering pump down here is in that matching colour from this piece. The alternator I tried, but it didn't work. It's still a little bit too shiny for the rest of it, which was a bit of a shame, but it still looks very good. Now let's go up and inside. Span all the way around there for no good reason at all. I'm going to crack on. We'll get all of this done. We've got obviously 2 camshafts in here. We've got 4 spark plugs, and we've got 8 camshaft caps all together. So I'm going to get all of them in, and then we'll crack on. That's all the innards in. Let's move right down to the front and get all of this finished off. Cam gear on you go. Then we should be able to put the belt in. Nicely done. And then a belt tensioner. Again, not painted, but this all sits under a cover. Let's get the cover on in that oil blue. We'll just throw the torch on it very quickly so you can see that it is the blue. Bolted up. Nice and easy. Then down here, we've got the crankshaft pulley. Tried to match it again, but it's hard on some of these pieces with the Quality of Life mod because some of the pieces aren't designed to be painted. So when you force it, they don't quite know what to do. So let's get the belt on. That is also in a bit of that blue. Can't really see it on that one, but never mind. And the painted idle roller is also in that blue. Looking very good on there. Oil filter, you are in a red, but the top ring is red. The rest of it's blacked out. And I think it looks really good in that color scheme, so we'll leave it with that. Fuel filter in that sort of metallic-y, chromy red. And we got some cam gears up here. Lovely little timing chain and another cam gear just on there. And then, oh, couldn't bolt it up. Mouse went mad. And then the timing cover on the top is in that matched-ish color. Not done a very good job on that one, have I? But there we go. Sometimes it doesn't always work as you plan. Let's nip around to this side. We'll get the exhaust manifold in. Again, in that sort of matching color. That bit's come out really well. Pleased with that one. It's just a shame that timing cover wasn't quite there, but it still looks good nonetheless. The engine cover, engine head cover, there we go, is in a force chrome red. This is one of the black plastic pieces that is really hard to paint, so you kind of have to force chrome it to get anything on it. Ignition coils are also force chromed, but in that Texaco oil blue. On you go, in you go, and in you go. It's hard to see them, but even with the light, they don't sort of show up very well, but it is what it is. Intake manifold is in that force chrome red. For a splash more of that in here. Didn't want to go too over the top with the red, although That's pretty over the top, let's be honest. Fuel injectors, these are in the gloss version of that Texaco oil blue because they paint really well. Meant to put it in and not change to the next one. There we go, and there we go. And we got the throttle in here in that matching sort of silvery colour. Look, oh no, I didn't paint this part because I wanted to keep this little splash of red on the outside. So we left that one as it is. As you can see, it doesn't quite match, but it does match in with that alternator. Pretty good. Then the turbo is the last piece. I love a turbo. And that is a matching in with the exhaust manifold and the engine head there. Looking very good. Quite pleased with that. It isn't too in your face. It isn't too over the top. For me, that seems a little bit weird for some of you, but it's still cool and shiny enough to be good. I'm going to grab some pictures, then we'll get it dropped in the Texaco Ford Sierra. Time to drop this beautiful beast into our time attack Texaco Ford Sierra. Hopefully it's going to look pretty good. Let's just get it dropped in and see how it turns out. Pin away the crane and let's take a look. Maybe a bit too shiny on the red there, but it matches in with the rest of it. Looking pretty good. Some people don't quite like the shine. The blue, have I still got the torch on? The blue seems very blue at the moment. Maybe I didn't have the torch on. Don't know why, but that oil blue, I think it looks really good. It's not quite black, but it's, yeah, it's really nice. Liking this. I think that engine looks fantastic in there. I don't know what to do. We've got to get in and get the gearbox underneath. I was thinking about the starter, but that has to go in last anyway. So let's just get underneath and start getting some of the underside bits in. Did not mean to jump all the way back there. Wanted the gearbox. We've done that one in that oil blue on there. Looking very good. Matching in with the rest of it. Then we got the front drive shaft in Yugo in the sort of silvery colour, matching in with everything else. We'll get the front drive axles in, one over there, and then, oh, not the drive shaft, one over there in Yugo. Looking pretty good on there. And we'll just throw this front exhaust section in for the time being. Looking very, very good there. Now, this bit does clip through that steering rack, which is why I wanted that in the sort of same silver. And we didn't paint it, and it matched perfectly. So we'll leave it as that. Middle muffler in Yugo. Then we've got the exhaust pipe. We'll do the goo. Why do I keep saying goo instead of do? We'll do the drive shaft in Yugo. That's meant to be matching in with the rest. It looks pretty good on there. Pleased with that on Yugo. And then just down the back here, we've got the rear muffler just poking down the end there. Looking absolutely fantastic. Beautiful job there. Absolutely loving it. But let's get it back down on the ground because we do have one more piece to go in before I say let's get this one outside and in the sun and all of that. So let's get it down. We've got to get that little starter just in there, in Yugo, in that chromed red. Absolutely stunning. Loving that. And that is everything finished. We just got to top up some liquids, get the wheels done, get some windows tinted, get this beautiful car outside in the sun. There we are, all finished with Payne's beautiful Ford Sierra mod in this stunning wide body kit. It looks absolutely fantastic in that lovely livery by Zaraki as well. Links to both of them in the description below. Car and livery, two separate things. You do have to go through them. And make sure you follow Zaraki's instructions to get this precise wide body Texaco livery because the normal one won't fit on this wide body kit, which is a bit of a shame. But let's talk a little bit about these rims. I've gone for the rim at 13 today. I think they fit it quite well. Quite similar to what was on the actual Texaco race car, not a wide body kit, just the normal Ford Sierra on there, but it still looks fantastic. The front rims are a 19-inch rim we've gone for on here. They're 285 thick with an a 25 profile and ET of 65 on there, and I've tried to match them in with the sort of silvers on the suspension and the engine and stuff like that. Don't know how much of a good job I've done. It's not far off. They're still a little bit shinier than everything else. Down the back here, the rim again is a 19-inch rim, but it's 305 width with a 25 profile and ET of 75 to bring it out this far into the car. Looking fantastic. The engine under there looks beautiful. Not too over the top like I normally do. Just quite chromy and a little bit in your face, but not too much. Looks fantastic. Let's jump inside and check out what this i4 turbocharged engine sounds like. The interior in here is fantastic. Loving it. Beautiful work as always, Payne. But let's get it started. Spaceship grumble there. Give it some gas. Stays quite quiet. I stayed very quiet then because I was listening. It stays quite quiet until really at the top end. But then you get that turbo whistle as well. Still sounding pretty good, but let's get this beast onto the dyno, see what its horsepower is and what the time attack's drag rating will be. Here we are then on the dyno with our Ford Sierra time attack and its turbocharged inline-4 engine. 628 factory horsepower. How much have we added with performance parts today and what will its drag rating be? Let's have a look. A gain of 553 horsepower, 89% increase. pretty good from a Ford Sierra, bringing us up to 1,181 horsepower and the highest drag rating we can get of a 999. Pretty good on there from this little beast, and it's inline 4. Let's have a look at the gearbox tuning setup. It's pretty wild. This is the 2.9 ratio I've gone for, bearing in mind it starts at a 4.2 ratio. Everything's much higher up, and I've brought it all down. 94 kilometers an hour in first gear, 461 registered in fifth gear. We'll see if we can quite get up to there on the drag strip. ECU's fully tuned and ready to go. And as per normal, no carburetors, because they don't have them with an ECU. That's not how it works. But anyway, let's get over to the drag strip, see who our competition will be today, and if we can win some tournaments, because we've been pretty bad at it recently. I think we've won one in like the last 5. So we need to be better at that. Hopefully, this will be our turning point. Back at the drag strip, Ford Sierra, a stunning looking Texaco liveried one. Let's get into it. King of the Sands, 1 mile A-class. Pay our entry fee. Who have we got? Well, our first race is against the RTR Unicorn version 2, which we can expect. Whenever we've got a 999, it's the Unicorns. The Unicorn army is here to conquer absolutely everybody, at least try to. We've got Killer slash Pie in the Unicorn version 2 as well up here. We've got the name, in my version of the Atlanticalope VM Drag Edition. Pretty epic. Jackal is in a Skyline Drag Edition as well, so that's pretty cool. So we've got a few, our friends are in some different vehicles, apart from Pi, who is leading the Unicorn pack from the front. Hopefully we can beat Arthur in our first race. Let's get into it, see how we do. Here we are, ready for our first race. Our Texaco Sport Sierra in that wide body kit, the time attack version versus the Unicorn version 2, as we've come to expect many times. I mean, out of the two, I definitely prefer the Unicorn's livery, but I'm sure hoping we can win in our Sierra. So let's get in. Let's go. Off the line, into second, into third. This thing is quick off the line. That four-wheel drive system definitely helps. Only one more gear left to go. I'm very impressed by this car as it stands at the moment. Into fifth gear, sort of misjudged that one a little bit, but let's get across the line and see what we can get down for our first run of the day. There we go, across the line. What have we got then? An 8.050 seconds to the quarter of a mile. That's definitely pretty good. That is top 10 right there. Pleased with that. Hopefully we can shave a little bit more off with a slightly better gear change from 4th to 5th, because I did mess that one up a little bit. Then we got a 19.693 seconds to the 1 mile with a top speed of 440 kilometers an hour. Absolutely smashed the Unicorn. Pleased with that. Let's get back, see who we got next, see who's still in it. Well, unfortunately, a lot of our friends seem to have been knocked out already, which is a bit of a shame. Jackal's gone in the Skyline Drag. My Atlanticalope's gone, driven by, and Pi is also out as well. But it does mean we've knocked a few of the Unicorns out already. We've only got 4 Unicorns left, 3 Ford Mustang Drags left, and obviously our Ford Sierra Time Attack. We're against the Unicorn version 3 this time. Let's get in, see if we can beat that one. We do love the Unicorns on this channel, but we see them so much with the high-powered cars on the drag strip. It gets a bit tiresome after a little while, but we do tend to regularly beat them. Let's see how we can do against the version 3 today in that beautiful livery. In we go. Let's go. Off the line, into second, into third. I think I heard a bit of extra wheel spin there from the Unicorn. Into 4th. Not near us by the looks of that at the moment, but it's definitely something we're proud of. Into 5th gear, much better selection of gear changes this time round, and it does look like we're still in the lead. So let's get across the line and see if this is better than our first run. There it is. What have we got this time round? 8.077. So even with that slightly better gear change, sadly not quite as fast as our first run. 19.65 seconds to the 1 mile, which definitely was faster than our first run, and with a much better top speed of 442 kilometers an hour. But there we go, we've made it through the first 2 rounds, so we're doing better than we have done previously. Let's get back, see who we got next, and hope it's not another Unicorn. Well, there it is. Only the one Unicorn left in it. It's another version 2. We got 2 Ford Mustang Drags and our Ford Sierra Time Attack. Can we beat our first Mustang drag of the day and hopefully make it into the final and face off against one of these two? Ford versus Ford. Ford DLC coming soon, bear that in mind, but that drag looks absolutely insane. Cool. Liking that in the black on black. We got our Texaco Ford Sierra. Hopefully we can beat the Ford Mustang drag. Off we go. Off the line, into second, into third. Just waiting to see that Ford Mustang pull away from us and hoping it won't happen. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Not this early on anyway. Let's get into top gear and hopefully get a very good run with this one. Hopefully we'll be 8.060 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Let's get across the line and see what we've done. There it is. What have we got this time? 8.067. So still not quite as good as our first run. And a 19.646. It's weird. We seem to be getting slower at the quarter mile, but quicker at the 1 mile. Don't quite know what's going on there, but there we go. So the 19.646 is now our quickest to the 1 mile. And the quarter of a mile, 8.067, is our second quickest to the quarter of a mile. Still with the matching top speed of 442 kilometers an hour. Let's get into that final race and see who we've got. Well, there it is. We've made it into the final with the beautiful Ford Sierra. We are against the version 2 Unicorn. We have already beaten one of them today in our very first race. So that gives us a bit of hope that we're going to win this final race and actually win a competition, a drag tournament, whatever you want to call it, as we keep missing out. So let's get into it. Let's go. Beautiful livery on the version 2, a Texaco livery on the Ford Sierra. Who's going to win? Let's get in. Let's go. Off the line, into second gear for our final race of the day. Hopefully we can win this one, beat that version 2 Unicorn, get the best time of the day as well, and get this beast slightly higher on the speeder board. That's what the goal is. Will we make it? We just need to get across the line to find out. Come on, little Ford Sierra. You can do this. There we go, across the line. What have we got? 8.702. Sadly, not quite our quickest to the quarter of a mile. Our quickest was our first run of the day. 19.649. Again, not quite our quickest to the 1 mile, but a decent top speed on there. Let's go back to the tournament and collect our winnings before heading back to the garage. And there it is, 11,250 minus our entry fee, 10,250 profit before we start. Happy with that. It mitigates most of the 4,000 we were down at the very beginning of the episode. Pretty good, but let's get our Ford Sierra back to the garage, see if we can make a profit from the sale and see where it finishes off on the speeder board. Well, there it is then, the Ford Sierra time attack with 1,181 horsepower. Actually the lowest horsepower in the top 10 there. 8.05 seconds to the quarter of a mile. Very impressed with that. 19.693 to the 1 mile. Still a very good time in comparison to the rest of them, with a top speed of 440 kilometers an hour or 273 miles an hour. Definitely a very good vehicle, and it did knock the wide body McLaren F1 out of the 10th spot, off of the top 10 speeder board. Bit of a shame, but just quite funny. I quite enjoy little moments like that. But Payne did knock off Payne, so I guess it counts, right? And it's wide body versus wide body. So there we go. Very impressed with our Ford Sierra time attack. Let's head back outside, though, see if we can make some money. There she is then, all finished and 8th on the speeder board. Quite impressed by that, if I am being honest. Let's talk some facts and figures, though. I bought the car for $28,295 and could have sold it at a loss of $4,037 at the very beginning of the episode. Obviously, we didn't want to do that. We always like to make some money. We upgraded it, we tuned it, we painted it, we made it look as good as we possibly could throughout the build, looking fantastic. But to do that, we spent a further $61,194, pitting our total spend at $89,489, and that is quite a bit. Let's see if we can make some profit from this beautiful little Ford Sierra. There she is, all 100% finished and looking fantastic in there. And obviously, we got that engine wrapped up to 1,181 horsepower from 628, a gain of 89%. Very impressed by that one from a little inline 4, although a turbocharged inline 4, but still an inline 4 nonetheless. We spent a total of 89,489. Can we make some money? No, apparently not. Sale price of 88,308 leaves us at a loss of 1,181. Wait, the same as the power? How weird is that? A loss of 1,181, which is the same as our power gain, but we did win the drag strip tournament, which did give us an extra 10,250. So total profit from this build, thanks to the drag tournament win, is 9,069. That was close to not making any money at all, and I would have been surprised by that one if that had been the case. This beautiful looking Ford Sierra. Again, link in the description below to the mod car, and link in the description below to the wonderful livery by Zaraki. Fantastic work, both of you. Loving it. But it's time to say goodbye to the Sierra. Off you go. Nice little bit of not profit, minus money, but there we go. We still have ended up with just about more money than we started the day with. So what are we going to do next? Well, we have another time attack vehicle for you next. This one is a bit insane, as you can already see by the looks of this. This one here is the Mitsubishi Lancer 2006. It is the Evo 9 time attack, and it looks absolutely insane. We got it from the bad auction house. It's in terrible, terrible condition. The engine in this one is the i4 double overhead cam 4x4 with the turbo. Think it's the same engine. Pretty convinced it is. Maybe we'll swap it to the single overhead cam. We will see. Depends on the power. But this one, as it stands, has got 788 horsepower from the factory. Pretty wild. Did we get a good deal on this one? Yes, but by the smallest of margins. 38,848 is what we paid for it. And I could sell it for 38,869, making profit of 21. There we go. Nice little bit of 21 profit there for you. This is what we're going to be working on next time. And that is it for today's video. I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, leaving us a like, leaving us a comment. If you have a specific car you'd like to see me build from in the game, mods on the workshop, things like that, do let me know in the comments below, because we actually have no more new mods, no more new DLC cars until the Ford DLC comes out. So I'm actually struggling for the first time since we started to find new things to do. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.